The second half began with no changes from either team. Immediately, we could see Liverpool were more awake, passing the ball quicker and sharper, looking for incisive passes. Would Newcastle sit back and try to hold what they had, or would they go toe to toe with Liverpool? With Dan Burns' dominance from corners in the first half, all eyes were on what Liverpool would do when the Magpies got their first corner of the second half after 49 minutes. To my surprise, Liverpool kept McAllister on Burns. When Trippier's delivery came in this time, though, he went over everyone to the back post where his target, Joe Linton, was able to play the ball across the edge of the 6-yard box where Barnes more deflects the ball towards goal rather than getting a proper shot. Kelleher still has to dive to his right to keep the ball out, and Isak is at hand to knock in the rebound. Newcastle think they have a 2-goal lead, but their jubilations are short-lived as the linesman had raised his flag for offside against Guimaraes, who had been impeding Kelleher's view from Barnes' effort. 2 minutes later, though, all that is forgotten. Newcastle have their second goal. Livramento makes ground unimpeded up the left flank. He plays a 1-2 with Barnes cut past Kwanzaa and Gravenberch, and Livramento, from almost the corner flag, plays a first-time cross deep into the box. Murphy beats Robertson to the header and knocks it down to Isak on the penalty spot, who was able to play the ball first time on the half volley into the right-hand corner past Kelleher. This time there is no doubt, and Newcastle players can celebrate with their fans. Isak scoring in a cup final with deadly efficiency, showing why there is a price tag of 150 million on his head. So the question now would be how Liverpool would react. Slot's first move was to bring on Curtis and Nunez for Jota and, surprisingly, Konate. Gravenberch went into defence. Was Konate injured? This was my original thought. On 58 minutes, Liverpool nearly have a goal back, and it is Curtis, just on, who brings a great save out of Nick Pope in the goal. Curtis actually started the move in his own half, playing McAllister into space, who played it forward to Diaz centrally. Halfway inside Newcastle's half at that time, Diaz played it out, and Szoboszlai out left in the box, receives the ball, and he plays the ball into the path of Curtis, who was arriving late. He takes a touch to control the ball and shoots, but the shot is perhaps too close to Pope, who's able to palm it over the bar for a corner. It showed, though, why the more attacking Curtis had come in midfield for Gravenberch. If Liverpool could pull one back, we would have one hell of a game on our hands. However, it was Newcastle on 63 minutes who should have put the game beyond Liverpool's reach. Newcastle attack, getting men forward, no sign here of sitting back. Guimaraes wins the ball in a challenge with Curtis, 10 yards outside the Liverpool box. He has space to look up. He plays a high ball to the back post where Barnes has escaped Kwanzaa. He plays it first time across the 6-yard box to Isak, but the ball is slightly behind the Swede, who has to adjust his body to get a shot away. Nevertheless, he does, and Kelleher has to make a smart save to keep the ball out. On 66 minutes, McAllister is taken off for Gakpo, Slot feeling they needed some more energy in midfield. Still, Newcastle were going for it. Barnes should have done better with a cutback, and Murphy was wide with a shot from outside the box, with Liverpool throwing so many players forward, trying to get back into the game. It was creating opportunities for Newcastle when they got the ball. We spoke about how quiet Salah was in the first half. I think in the second half, up to now, he's been very quiet. And we saw, only 3 touches so far in the second half. On 70 minutes, Liverpool still had 62% possession, but only 3 shots with 1 on target and 7 touches in the opposition box, compared to Newcastle's 13 shots, 5 on target and 23 touches in the Liverpool box. There was no doubting that Newcastle were deserving of the lead. Liverpool were playing with 4 men up front, but didn't seem to have the energy or ability to get the ball forward to them. If Liverpool were going to do something, it had to be soon. Gravenberch was replaced by Chiesa, and Diaz came off for Harvey Elliott. It seemed Liverpool were moving to 3 at the back with Van Dijk, Robertson and Kwanzaa. Throwing the kitchen sink comes to mind. Shar and Burndow were proving equal to it in the centre of the Newcastle defence, clearing any ball that came in their area. On 80 minutes, Isaac, who had been receiving treatment, went off for Wilson, and Joe Willock came on to add more steel in midfield to replace Harvey Barnes. Liverpool were having the ball but were not able to create anything to hurt Newcastle. On 89 minutes, Murphy limped off, and on came the Swede Kraft to add more numbers in the back line. Liverpool fans might have felt a surge of hope when the fourth official raised the board to signify there would be 8 minutes of added time, and there was still time for more drama. Chiesa put the ball in the Newcastle net. For a second, there must have been so many Newcastle fans getting physically sick, but their discomfort was short-lived as, to their utmost relief, the linesman had raised his flag for offside. Harvey Elliott had won the ball in midfield. Newcastle defenders were unable to intercept as he played the ball into the penalty area to the feet of the onrushing Italian, who slipped the ball into the net past the advancing Pope. Then more horror for the Geordies, and more people probably getting sick in the stands. VAR replays seemed to indicate Chiesa was in fact onside, and the goal was given. Guimaraes it was who lost the ball in midfield in the build-up. To say the atmosphere was intense at this point would be an understatement. Fans who had chewed down their own fingernails were looking around, unsure what to do next. And then, after a long 101 minutes, the whistle finally goes to crown Newcastle as League Cup winners 2025. Their first time to have their hands on a trophy for 56 years when they won the European Fairs Cup in 1969, 70 years since they last won a domestic trophy when they won the FA Cup in 1955. There was no doubt they deserved the victory. They were the better team on the day and will celebrate long into the month. For Liverpool, a very emotional and disappointing week, beaten today and also midweek by PSG. They will dust themselves down and go on to comfortably claim the Premier League trophy. There is no doubt that Liverpool have been the best team in England over the season, but today belongs to Newcastle. It ends here at Wembley. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 2.